What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video, and it's almost time for 2022's Wrestlemania Backlash as the WWE superstars lock up for 6 big matches. However, who will triumph and who will fall to defeat? Join us now as we look at all the winners and losers of WWE Wrestlemania Backlash 2022. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Our first match of the night is an I Quit match for the SmackDown Women's Championship as champion Charlotte Flair takes on Ronda Rousey. Now we'll ignore the fact that this is the only championship match booked so far for Backlash and compliment the WWE on booking a good rematch between Flair and Rousey that still has Rowdy Ronda chasing for the belt. Many fans, including ourselves, were certain that Rousey would whoop Flair at Mania to capture the SmackDown Women's title, but the WWE added suspense to Ronda's quest by having Flair thwart her in Rousey's first go at the belt. But now Rousey seems all but guaranteed of winning the belt, which has to have fans wondering what tricks the Queen might have planned to somehow steal the win. The WWE has shrewdly set Flair up as someone who may not be able to defeat Rousey without resorting to rule breaking, but they've certainly set things up to keep fans guessing, which should make this an interesting match as Rousey looks to murderize Flair for cheating her out of her victory at WrestleMania 38. Despite Flair's best efforts, expect to see Rousey force Flair to say "I quit," something which Rousey will taunt Charlotte about over the next few weeks. Our final prediction: Ronda Rousey wins the SmackDown Women's Championship. Next up is Seth Rollins vs Cody Rhodes. A Seth vs Cody may have been WrestleMania 38's best match, although Edge vs Styles certainly deserves some consideration, so it makes sense for the WWE to book a rematch. The problem here, like most of the WrestleMania rematches on the card, is that WWE hasn't upped the stakes for this match, instead just booking it as an ordinary match, although they do deserve credit for resisting its standard practice of booking several rematches on TV before the premium event. An added stipulation could have livened things up, but the WWE likely feels the match is so good on paper that it needs no extra seasoning. But we're waiting for a third match, and that won't be until Hell in a Cell, as fans should expect to see Rollins steal the win over the American Nightmare, with the two squaring off inside a cage during their next dust-up. But for this match, our final prediction is that Seth Rollins defeats Cody. Next up is Edge vs AJ Styles, with Damian Priest being barred from ringside. Like Seth vs Cody, the WWE probably feels the fans are more invested in a one-on-one match between Edge and Styles than they are with any stipulation being added, other than Priest being barred from ringside, of course. Now, as any savvy fans know, barring someone from ringside historically has led to all sorts of shenanigans, often with the heel triumphing. The question here is how Edge will cheat his way to a W. Will Judgment Day unveil a new member? If the answer is yes, who will it be? Several names come to mind, including Tommaso Ciampa, Finn Balor, which would almost be as bad as the WWE's use of zombies at last year's Backlash, Rhea Ripley, or possibly even a returning Alexa Bliss. The WWE will have to be careful, as it doesn't want to add just anyone to Edge's faction, and it has to be careful with not portraying AJ Styles as being weak. As we discussed in our recent analysis of 2nd May's Raw, the reunion between former Bullet Club members AJ Styles and Finn Balor, a Judgment Day vs Styles and Balor match, is a potential license to print money if the WWE handles things with finesse. Sunday's match should give the fans all they need to know about whether this potential feud blossoms or withers away. But our final prediction: Edge manages to win, with a third member being revealed. Next up is Madcap Moss vs Happy Corbin. Now really, this match doesn't seem like something you'd pay to see, but the WWE is determined to push Madcap Moss, even if it means skipping a title defense at Backlash or a high-profile match. We can't argue with the WWE's decision to pit these two at a premium event, as we've repeatedly criticized the WWE for its lackluster efforts at building undercard stars, but sometimes you have to roll the dice, and Moss vs Corbin is by no means a sucker's bet. The storyline driving this feud is what you'd expect with Happy Corbin playing the jerk and jealously trying to make life difficult for a babyface Moss. But Moss couldn't be in better hands, as Corbin is known for being easy on opponents and a dependable heat magnet. So far, Moss has done a surprisingly good job with his comedic babyface character, but the big question is how far the WWE intends for him to go, and whether the fans will continue getting behind him when he moves on from his feud with Happy Corbin. But look for Moss to get the Duke and for Corbin to do something to justify another match between the former friends. Our final prediction: Madcap Moss defeats Happy Corbin. Next up is Omos, who's with MVP versus Bobby Lashley. Now this match is a great example of how babyface can win the first match against a heel, yet excite the fans into wanting a rematch. It's also a reminder of how managers, good managers that is, can contribute to a wrestler's growth. In this case, fans wondering how the WWE can continue Omos' build after he split up with AJ Styles, and they managed to get their answer when MVP aligned himself with the big man, dumping former client Bobby Lashley and instantly creating a feud between Omos and the Almighty, despite Lashley's win over Omos at Mania. The idea of MVP's evil genius guiding Omos has plenty of potential, with Omos instantly leveling up as a threat to all opponents. Omos is one of the most remarkable big men in wrestling, and there's plenty of potential in this legitimate giant. As we've discussed before, MVP helped Bobby Lashley make the leap from upper card to main event, speaking for the Almighty while Bobby honed his heel act and his promos. But now that Lashley is on his own and doing well, there's no reason to think MVP won't help Omos with both his singles matches and his promos. Omos' feud with Lashley promises plenty of slobber knockers, and the match this Sunday should top last month's battle. Watch as MVP helps Omos defeat Lashley, likely leading to a riotous rematch at Hell in a Cell. On paper, they may stretch this program out past Hell in a Cell, as Lashley is one of those few credible opponents for Omos, and Omos should not be competing in any World Championship matches just yet. But our final prediction, Omos gets the win. And now finally, it's time for the main event, as it's a 6-man tag match between RK Bro and Drew McIntyre versus the Bloodline. First off, while few fans are likely happy that the WWE dropped the tag team title unification match between RK Bro and the Usos, not to mention the rumoured undisputed title defense by Roman Reigns against McIntyre, fans may want to rethink their anger, because this 6-man tag match may have saved fans from an even worse decision making than the WWE's short-sighted idea to crown Roman Reigns as undisputed champion. You might know our feelings on that in a previous video. Not only are fans wondering whether the WWE had any idea how to book the tribal chief as undisputed champion, they're now curious how the WWE intends to book Reigns if they have him turn face. Throw in the added problem of how to handle a title unification bout between Raw and SmackDown tag team champs, and you have a situation where the WWE may have wisely decided to scrap things until it can figure out its next move. While the rumours of Vince wanting Roman vs Drew in a stadium show may be the real reason behind this 6-man match, let's hope it's the former, as the WWE can't afford to ruin the Bloodline's build-up. Of course, as important as these external factors are, the focus on Sunday is putting on a strong 6-man matchup to make up for the matches originally scheduled. This won't be the first time that the Bloodline have battled RK Bro and McIntyre, so fans should be in for an exciting match since they've been working this one before. Will it be exciting enough that fans say this is better than an Usos vs RK Bro match would have been? Well, probably not, but the WWE likely believes as long as they send the fans home happy, it's not a big deal. This isn't the first time that the WWE has juggled a card, and Backlash is largely a stopgap show as the WWE prepares for its upcoming stadium shows over the summer. One of the Usos will count the light, no surprise since the WWE continues to protect Roman Reigns even from getting pinned in a tag match. This match, like Wrestlemania Backlash, is all about protecting the status quo as the WWE determines what's next for Roman Reigns and whether it's worth unifying the tag team titles as long as the brand split remains in existence. Our final prediction, RK Bro and Drew McIntyre win. But there you have it guys, all the winners and losers of WrestleMania Backlash. What are your guys' predictions? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.